Hi, everybody. This is Taylor Hamlin from History Forge. I'm going over is this third week? No, this is fourth week, week 4. We're finally on week 4. And it's been very fun. A little crazy and distracted right now. It's homecoming week, so I can step back and see my awesome pajama suit that I'm wearing. It's PJ Day. And it's going to be a fun week this week. The energy's always high during homecoming week. And it's an interesting week, too, because I have the counselor coming in a lot, and we're kind of finalizing our character logs. Those are the documents that I use with the students to try to figure out who they are, and hopefully they're going to be used to figure out what students are going to pick for their projects, not only their topics, but also what they actually want to do for their projects. So tomorrow, I'm sorry, I'll go ahead and go through the actual list. Again, this is week 4. It's been a very exciting day, and let's see, everything looks like it's working. Yep. All right, so week 4, and counselor discussion was today. Mr. Boonder's our counselor. He came in, and he's been talking to students about their state scores, and he's just been kind of giving me a counseling day, which is giving me the opportunity to get ready for tomorrow. So I'll kind of just skip Monday because nothing really has happened much with curriculum. But Tuesday's going to be a fun day because we're actually bringing in professionals that I consider social studies professionals that are out in the community. So we're bringing like archivists, archaeologists, librarians, people from the newspaper, and they're going to set up their own little booth out in our kind of like 8th grade pod area, we call it. And they're going to basically present in 5 to 6 minutes about what they do. And it's just round robin. The kids are going to listen to a 5 to 6 minute presentation and then move on to the next table. And we're really going to do that for the main purpose of just kind of showing students like all the different ways you can use social studies skills like we've been doing. Just to remind you, in class we've been focusing now on skills like sourcing and corroboration. So how do you source a good document or story? How do you compare and contrast two stories or a secondary source and primary source? It's been really enjoyable to see the students take it on. It's always a little confusing at first. But at the end of the year, the students really start understanding it, and the challenge to them is using it in their projects. So we teach them the skills in class, and we give them opportunities to actually show us these things in their big projects. So tomorrow, that's what we're doing. It's going to be all day, and they'll actually have a round table with me. They'll actually have a round table with me, and the students will actually have to go over their materials with me and try to figure out exactly what they're going to do with their character logs. So that'll be Tuesday. Let's see, going into Wednesday. So we're actually going to go back into the National History Day topic, or the big theme this year, triumph and tragedy. Triumph and tragedy is really beneficial because it's an anchoring point for students. It really helps them try to figure out how their topics can relate to something big in history. And National History Day always picks really big themes. Like last year was conflict and compromise, which basically could just be a way to describe history. And triumph and tragedy are very associated with that. I would say conflict is what brings out tragedy, and compromise often brings out a triumph. And there's other ways that works too. So we're going to go over that again. I have a lesson that goes over with a historical figure. I can actually show you the resource. Right here you see the hyperlink, says Triumph and Tragedy book. If you click that link open, that'll actually take you to the PDF version of the National History Day 2019 Triumph and Tragedy and History book. And this is available to anybody. The hyperlink should take you there. And you can see it. And there's a lot of resources on here that are awesome. Little table of contents here. So feel free to check that out. We're going to keep on going back to it, so that'll be a regular appearance. And I'm going to actually, right here where it says practice analysis skills with the Sojourner Truth lesson, we're going to listen to that story about Sojourner Truth, and I'm actually then going to challenge the students to use one of their skills that they've recently learned. It should be valuable. We should learn more about what triumph and tragedy is. And again, we're going to be pumping that into our character logs and hopefully coming up with a really cool presentation for the students. Let's see, Wednesday's also their first Google Classroom question. Those questions are differentiated. So I gave the students their Google Classrooms last week, and there's 4 classrooms total, and I based those off their state scores. Sorry, I'm getting all these emails. So I based these classrooms off to the students' state scores, and basically it just is differentiated on level. So students who are on a certain classroom are going to get tougher questions but more time to answer them. and they'll have greater expectations as well. And students who are in classrooms that need just a little extra assistance, they're going to get that. We have tutors, we have myself, we have other people who are going to help those students, but it's just a way for us to kind of check them out, help them, give them more feedback. So that's going to be their first one on Wednesday, and I'll sit with them in classroom and do that. Just a note to parents and teachers too, I suppose, who are watching this series. Students tend to get behind on these unless you like really stay on top of them. So my favorite way to stay on top of them is just do a quick check, make sure they're turned in, and if they're not, put missing in a grade book or something, and then grade them later. Because if you wait to grade them like in detail, you get behind. And so it's just kind of easier just to make sure they're turned in first. And then, especially like if you have tutoring staff, like I'm going to use mine. Oftentimes the tutoring staff helps me grade the 2 levels that need the most assistance. And so we'll do more of that as the year goes on. But just again, it's an important thing, and I will show questions in the future. Let's see, Thursday's all highlighted, as you can see, because that is the counselor's actually coming back in. Me and Mr. Boonder, our school counselors, we're really trying to come up with bigger and better things for our classrooms. We want to co-teach a lesson. So there's going to be 3 parts to that day. Mr. Boonder is going to talk to students about their job, their careers, their career paths. Going to talk about like what could be a valuable skill to learn in that career path. And then I'm going to take that information on a later date and ask the students, so you have this career path of this idea, what skills could you be practicing in your History Day projects? Like if you're going to be somebody who's going to talk in front of people a lot, maybe you should be doing something in a History Day project that allows you to talk to people, like a documentary or a performance. Or if you're going to be building with your hands, like you're going to be an engineer or a mechanic of some kind, then you should probably build the exhibit or do something that is, building. I will be talking about historical interests so again, this is 3 parts, and my part will do historical interests. And I'm going to be focusing on basically just helping students figure out like what specific kind of history do they want to study. Because after that point, I'm going to give them the opportunity to start looking at different kinds of history and hopefully picking a topic. We want to start kind of narrowing down at least what kind of topics we want to get up until October. Right now, we're just very much focusing on passions and interests. So right now, some student might know that they want to do something like with medicine history or medical history. And then eventually we need to kind of keep on narrowing that down until we get to like a specific individual or a moment in history that they can really actually study. So we're going to do that. Let me see. It looks like, yeah, and that's it for. And again, they're highlighted because me and Mr. Booner were talking about what that day is going to look like. So I just had some notes for myself on there. And then they'll also have a video lecture. And again, that way we have 3 groups. And so Mr. Booner will handle skills and career. I'll handle historical interests. And then I'll have a video that I'm not really 100% sure yet. It'll either do something with history or, again, have something to do with identities. Or maybe students are going to work on their character logs more. Not sure. So, leaving that, going down to Friday. I'm actually not going to be here on Friday. We have a classroom substitute coming in. I am actually a mentor for the state mentor program for South Dakota. And me and my mentee are actually going to be going in order to do our kickoff, we call it, here in Pierre. So students will have a video lecture. I don't have that hyperlinked yet because I haven't made it, but I will. But students are going to do a video lecture for Pilgrims or something about the Mayflower. Haven't really decided yet. I still have to find videos. But they do have these 2 links that are done. They are both a primary source analysis. So I'm going to have students practice those primary sources again. We worked on a lot last week, and I'll probably introduce a new one this week. I think I have my list somewhere. No, I don't. I'll figure it out, but I will definitely let the students know for sure what actual skill they're learning. I'm also wanting to send that out to teachers. I'm trying to figure out how I should best do that, but I'll figure it out. And if you're a parent or anybody else who wants to have it, I have it on Google Docs, and I can easily share that with you. So that's the week. I actually, for once, kept it under 10 minutes, which is awesome. Again, homecoming week is going to be crazy. It's going to be fun. If you're one of the parents that watches this, just make sure your student is staying on top of things because it is a fun week, but hard sometimes to stay on top of it. And if you're a teacher, please give me feedback. Let me know if there's anything that you would like to include or anything that you need to know from me. And yeah, we'll move on from there. But I hope you have a great rest of the day and week, and we'll see you later. Take care. Bye.